Hi, welcome to Anaprime Recap. After fleeing Tokyo with your friends to escape a horde of zombies, you find yourself having to work for your evil boss again in the midst of the apocalypse. We're back with the anime Zoom 100, first season, episodes 4, 5 and 6. Akira Tendo struggles to hit the bizarre creatures chasing him, which are getting closer and closer to him. At the same time, his best friend is quietly cooking a meal. However, the situation only happened in a video game, which the young man installed in the improvised living room on the terrace, so he was able to complete one item on his list when camping at home. Kensho believes that his partner has never had a girlfriend because he can't cook, and challenges him to find love that same day. Looking down the street, they don't come across any suitors apart from the weird zombie girls. Looking at his colleague's wish list, the comedian realizes that there are several strange items, such as dinner with a stewardess. So he likes the idea and adds his own ambitions to the paper. After that, the pair decide to go out on a motorcycle to find a giant TV in the city center. During the journey, Akira reflects on his childhood dream, without realizing that the road has come to a standstill, causing him to brake abruptly. While he's thinking of a way out of the place, a truck driven by one of the zombies comes towards him. Kensho begs his friend to act quickly, but he waits until the last second to accelerate towards the car. The vehicle gets closer and closer, but the motorcycle manages to fly over it by catching momentum on an overturned car. As they pass the wreckage, an explosion erupts behind them, hurling bizarre debris at the comedian. Soon after, they manage to enter the subway station, which is swarming with hungry creatures, causing the young men to abandon the motorcycle. At the sight of a half-open door, the pair quickly run inside and close the entrance before their pursuers arrive. Inside the establishment, a light appears, revealing that there is a group of survivors desperate to stay hidden there. However, the place is a food store, with plenty of food for everyone for several days. After gathering some snacks, the young people introduce themselves to each other, except for the older man who is paralyzed with fear. The two friends are surprised to discover that they are dining with stewardesses, as they have completed this task on the list with ease. Akira doesn't hesitate and strikes up a conversation with Yukari, directly addressing their relationship status, leaving her disappointed by the cliched attitude. He quickly tries to ask his experienced dating friend for help, but realizes that he's too busy flirting with Maki. Remembering his old job, Tendo decides to tip over the bottle of booze in front of him, but it ends up dropping on the floor soon after. Later, the young man throws everything out in the bathroom and is rescued by Yukari. The other couples also retire to rest, but no one notices that the older man has a bite on his leg. As he scrambles to the ground, Reika pushes him away, not noticing that he has started to turn into a monster. He then sneaks up on the woman with the intention of hurting her, who notices his bizarre presence too late. At the same time, Kensho hears the flight attendant shouting, but ends up getting distracted by the girl next to him. In the bathroom, Yukari reveals that she's really worried about her new friend, but she's still faithful to her boyfriend, believing that he's waiting for her somewhere. On the other hand, the comedian goes to meet Reika. When he gets too close, he is surprised when the creature rushes towards him. However, the young man easily dodges it, causing his companion to be hit full on by the ferocious bite. After attacking her own friend, the woman lunges at the young man, who hits her with a blow using a suitcase. At the same moment, Kensho realizes that the other survivor isn't around. On the steps of the building, Yukari is about to reveal why she chose the profession of stewardess, but the couple are surprised by the crazy man, who advances on the girl's neck. The young man throws a powerful punch at his opponent, who is thrown away. When he realizes that his friend is hurt, he despairs, but she hugs him and reveals that she decided to become a flight attendant because of a woman she admired. Upon hearing these words, the young man begins to cry, without realizing that their time is up, as the creature advances towards the girl, who protects her colleague with her own body. Faced with this situation, Akira runs off to find the comedian, who is waiting for him alone holding a huge TV. Soon after, the two of them leave the place carrying the device on a motorcycle. At the end of the day, the young man puts another item on the list, which is to remember his childhood dream. In his childhood, Tendo wore a superhero cape and attacked two men who were harassing a little young boy and his dog. In the present day, Kensho checks his cell phone and discovers that the defense forces are acting to save people, so he suggests that his colleague's parents might be alive. The comedian then dyes his hair blonde to make an impact on his fans. Faced with this, Akira encourages himself and reveals that he will become a hero, as he recalled that his dream has always been to help those in need by wearing an incredible costume, even if he receives nothing in return. Even so, the young man has no superpowers, so he has to find a way to face the monsters of the apocalypse. Later, the two colleagues break into the abandoned Tokyo aquarium, where they find a devastated place and tanks full of fish and sharks turned into zombies. Checking the lockers in the changing room, Akira finds a diving uniform that he can use to carry out his mission. At the same time, a group of survivors are trapped inside a bus by a crowd of monsters on the street. Suddenly, one of the young men transforms and attacks the girl next to him, causing everyone to run to the outside of the vehicle, where the creatures attack them with ease. When she comes across the aquarium, one of the girls runs towards the establishment, but ends up twisting her foot and becomes vulnerable to the monsters. When one of them is about to attack her, a superhero called Ligra Akira appears and strikes a blow at the creature, which is thrown against the other zombies. His weird outfit is a diving suit capable of withstanding the bites of sharks and crocodiles. After other survivors arrive on the scene, the young man is surprised to realize that the girl from the risk analysis is among them. Suddenly, one of the creatures approaches and Tendo wastes no time in showing off to the girl he likes. However, the group of monsters knocks him to the ground in an attempt to devour him. Even so, the young man is unharmed by his costume, despite feeling the force of his enemy's jaws. Kensho doesn't worry about his companion, who manages to get rid of the zombies after a while. After entering the aquarium, Akira asks for Shizuka's cell phone number, who quickly analyzes his profile, saying that he is a fraud and has low self-esteem. Even though he feels frustrated, the young man agrees with her, because he can't risk his friends' lives just to fulfill his dream of becoming a hero. Suddenly, they are interrupted by a tremor that affects the place. After checking out the source of the noise, the two companions come across a corridor filled with water, and a shark with swimmer's legs emerges from the darkness. As they ponder what is before their eyes, the bizarre creature moves in to attack, following its prey into the room with the other survivors, where it destroys everything in its path. Everyone starts frantically running away from the zombie shark, which seems to have swallowed transformed humans to become the current aberration. After finding a room, the group comes across other monsters, which are devoured by the giant fish in a few seconds. They run for the nearest exit, but Shizuka is interrupted by a frightened girl, who knocks her to the ground. When he finds out that his partner is in danger, Akira doesn't think twice and returns to look for her. At the same time, the girl finds herself in front of the hungry animal, just waiting for the worst. Suddenly, the superhero jumps on the shark, surprising the girl, who scolds him for risking his life. He claims that he doesn't need a reason to do everything he wants, leaving Shizuka relieved. However, the couple's moment is interrupted by the creature, which makes them run. During the escape, the young woman thinks of a plan to escape, and her partner agrees with her. Meanwhile, the comedian watches his companions in trouble, but can't do anything because he's too scared. Trying to buy time for the girl, Akira lures the giant fish towards him, causing a crack in the aquarium, which causes zombie piranhas to fly towards the hero. In fact, Shizuka's plan is to hit sensitive points on the shark's head using electrical discharges in order to generate a disturbance in the animal's body. Knowing that her strategy could fail, the young man continues to fight with all his might, but the monster throws him away with a direct hit. While Akira tries to regain his strength, his enemy gets closer and closer, but is distracted by Kensho, who appears without clothes in one of the air vents. As he juggles to attract the creature's attention, he slips and stands on his toes, about to be devoured. At the same time, the girl appears and throws external batteries at her friend, who quickly grabs them and throws a thunder punch, releasing an electrical discharge that hits the animal's entire body. After the animal falls to the ground, everyone celebrates the team's victory. At the end of the day, Kensho suggests that Shizuka go with them, but the girl believes that their methods differ greatly, since her goal is to survive the apocalypse, while the young men just think about enjoying everything before they are turned into monsters. Before saying goodbye to her new friends, she decides to give Akira her cell phone number, as she believes he will never see her again. Afterwards, the young man reveals that he doesn't want to stay in Tokyo and plans to look for his parents in Gunma, his hometown. The next day, the pair of partners went into a luxury watch store and found the solid gold pieces they had been longing for. Later, Akira realizes that the water in the building has run out after the power goes out in the whole town. What's more, there's no longer an internet signal and the number of monsters on the streets is growing by the day. Faced with this situation, the young man thinks of a better place to survive the apocalypse. Looking up at the starry sky, he remembers his parents' town. After that, they pack only the items they need for the trip to Gunma. Before leaving the city, Akira wants to find a car equipped for a journey during the apocalypse. Arriving at a car store, the companions realize that fate has once again brought Shizuka to meet them. After reflecting on this coincidence, Tendo invites her to travel with them to his hometown. However, the girl instantly refuses, as there is no advantage in allying with other people. She also intends to find a motorhome, as she has come to the conclusion that it is the best way to get around in an apocalypse and reduce the risks, confessing that she watched more than 100 zombie movies to arrive at this analysis. At the same time, the young men begin to raise various disadvantages for her not to go on the journey alone, since the young woman doesn't know how to drive and that would be a great risk, which makes her very worried. Upon entering the store, the group comes across a variety of equipped vehicles, some with tractor wheels, others with a crane attached, and one even has a Japanese-style tatami mat inside. The most interesting of them all is a car with a whirlpool bath, which allows Kensho to enjoy a bath in front of his colleagues. Meanwhile, the girl analyzes the risks of choosing just any car, coming to the conclusion that standard transport with more than one fuel option would be ideal. On the other hand, the young men chose the coolest model, without taking into account that it is a large vehicle and complicated to cross roads full of cars and monsters. They believe that the motorhome's sunroof is amazing and useful, but Shizuka counters that the passengers could become an easy target for zombies because of this feature. During the discussion, the girl comes across the model of her dreams, which has a simple and sophisticated design, but doesn't meet all her safety requirements. As a result, the young men start making fun of her. However, their discussion is interrupted by a herd of monsters that suddenly appears on the scene, causing them to flee in the nearest car. In this way, they manage to complete item 17 on the list, which is to travel in a house on wheels. Kensho follows the route driving the motorcycle, alongside the couple in the vehicle, who are surprised by the empty road, suggesting that the citizens probably didn't manage to escape in time for the wave of infection to spread through the city. After analyzing diseases that spread in the past, the girl came to the conclusion that the apocalypse was caused by a virus, since it spread too quickly. What's more, it can be combated with an antidote, which may be being prepared by surviving scientists. Soon after, the comedian manages to see the limits of Gunma, but he doesn't realize that there are nails in the middle of the road, causing his motorcycle tires to burst and him to be thrown against the asphalt. Quickly, Akira climbs down from the motorhome to help his friend who was injured in the crash. At the same moment, a group of people appear on the scene, revealing Kasugi, Tendu's former boss who is now leading a team. Faced with such a presence, the young man remembers all the suffering he went through in his old job, while the evil man reveals that he didn't expect his subordinate to survive the apocalypse. He then claims that the trio of friends need help, offering medical care and car repairs. However, when the young man is about to thank him for the charity, he realizes that he will only receive it if he works for the man for 2 days. Akira Tendo is paralyzed by the situation of working for the bad guy, but he has to decide quickly, because the zombies around the road are getting closer and closer to the group. So they decide to accept the temporary employment contract. When they arrive at the company where they will be staying, the group comes across several people working hard. Soon after, Shizuka treats Kensho's wounds at the company's facilities, even though she doesn't trust her colleague's former boss. The next day, Akira is carrying heavy loads in the hot sun. Spotting a case of beer, he decides to put a few bottles in the freezer to offer to the other employees. However, he is surprised by Kasugi, who begins to threaten him, leaving him paralyzed. However, the situation is interrupted by the other employees, who appear to thank the man for the beer. Faced with this situation, the leader cheats by saying that it was his idea to deliver cold beers to the employees, who believe him. After the group of young people leave the room, Akira is confronted with a horrifying scene in which several citizens transformed into monsters are urged to pull a truck with ropes tied around their necks, demonstrating that Kasugi believes that people are mere tools of labor, just like the creatures. The man adds that the young man can be as useless as zombies, and that he'll only be any good if he follows his orders, which leaves Tendo paralyzed once again. Kensho doesn't understand why his friend is accepting all this suffering. At this point, Shizuka recalls similar situations that have already happened to her, revealing that the heart never forgets such experiences. So, what did you think of this anime? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more anime recaps. See you next time.